Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are doing well, and today I'm going to show off an older card game I made called Collided Worlds. This is edition 0.1 of the game. I made this back in 2017 when I kind of started watching homemade trading card game videos on YouTube, mostly Chaos Galaxy, and I really wanted to get in on the action and try to make a game to sell on my own. And this was kind of my first attempt at that, and it didn't really go anywhere. And this isn't even the only rendition of this game. I've made several different versions of Collided Worlds over the years, and I thought I'd do a little series going over some of these editions. And I thought I'd start with the first one, and as you can see, we've got Matt here. He's kind of a character who's kind of reoccurring in my card games. You can see his most recent version from the Make Your Own card game I did. And as far as how this game plays, it's kind of similar to how Make Your Own plays, but the main really changes. It has a few Pokemon elements to it. There's a bit more of them. As you can see, characters can have special attacks in addition to their regular attacks. So the objective of the game is to, like with Make Your Owns, is to reduce your opponent's life points from 20 to 0. And you have different heroes, which are basically the characters of this game, who can do that. And characters have two main stats. They have battle points, which is their attack power, and hit points, which is how much damage they can take before being knocked out. They also have costs to play them, which are paid for with action points, which is a resource you gain over time. And as I've stated briefly, characters have two types of attacks. They can use their battle points to use a basic attack for no cost, or they can use one of these special attacks by paying a certain amount of action points listed near the attack's name, and they have their own damage values as listed here. So I think I don't remember a ton about this set, but I do remember, I think it was going to be 80 cards. I had a full list of what was going to be in the first set, but I think that was lost to time. I think it was on another computer. But as you can see, we got Matt here. Citrus is also here. And of course, some of these cards also have keyword effects, like you have Reach here and Vigilance, which mean different things. Reach means you can block flying characters, and then there are definitely some elements of Magic the Gathering too, as well. So like Vigilance, when you attack with a character, your opponent could choose to block, and characters had to turn sideways when attacking to show that they were attacking. And then you got Citrus here. And there's Chloe. You got Shirk Deo. I'm just going to kind of run through all the cards here that I've made so far. And I've got Sniper Man. There's actually two different versions of the artwork. And then you got Johnny Lockjaw Jones, who's also in my current game. A lot of these are, and some of them I made multiple versions of because I was doing some testing with them and doing basically several starter decks, which the deck size in this game was 20 cards a piece, so it was kind of small. Liquid Soap Trooper, who's kind of an interesting character, mainly that he's from an RPG Maker game that I once made. Maybe I'll talk more about that another time. If you're interested, you can definitely let me know in the comments below. And then there's Malicious Master Max. And then you got WorkerBot, who's one of the machines. So there were several different character archetypes. You got machines, you've got humans as well. You've got also subtypes like Liquid Soap Army from the Liquid Soap Troopers. You got Defender Bot here, going back into some of the other characters. You got Spy Bot, which also shows that characters can have abilities you can activate on your turn as well. You have Chase, Ninja. You got Lime Slime, who's a 0-cost card. The thing about the action points is that you could have anywhere from 0 to 6 at a time, and you had some cards that could be free, while there were other cards that costed action points to use. So there's Lime Slime. You got Gellin. So yeah, there's 3 of them. And this also gives me a chance to show off that I do have backs on these too. There's what the back was originally going to look like, just a simple blue, dark blue border with the light blue surrounding. You got the M56 Menace, which is kind of like the boss creature for the machines. He's got a big 5 cost and a huge stat line and a pretty good attack that can damage all of your opponent and all of the heroes they control. It's pretty good. Combat Bot. And then you got the small fries. So yes, even back in 2017, I was making these guys, and you might see a few more of them over the course of this. Then you got the Dark Stalker, who has a special attack that allows you to gain life after you deal damage. Subaru, who's another character from the Make Your Own card game. Got Raptor Hawk here. You got Mad Plant. Winged Small Fry, he's here again. He's one of the flying characters, which has the flying ability, meaning he can attack your opponent directly. There's the Small Fry Warrior. A couple copies of him. And there you have the King Small Fry, who has a pretty big attack that does 5 damage, but you have to discard another Small Fry you have. Though it is an unblockable attack, so something to keep in mind. You've also got Jake here, who doesn't really attack, but he has a construct special attack where you pay a certain amount of action points, and then you can search for a machine character from your deck and put it into play. And then there's Security Bot. And then there's Battle Drone. And that kind of goes in for all the heroes. There's also action cards, of course, that you kind of play once and then are discarded. Those are called the instant actions. And so the first one we've got is Mom's Kindness, which heals 2 life points and draws you a card. Lucky Ticket, which is a pretty powerful card. It's 0 cost and you just draw a card. But if you play this card on your first turn, you draw 2 more cards. So pretty powerful card. Then there's Fix It, which lets you return a card from the graveyard to your hand. I have a version of this in Make Your Owns as well. Health Potion, pretty simple. You just heal some life points. Burst Attacks, destroys a target hero. Pretty nice. Quick Shot is a bit cheaper, but you can deal 1 damage to a hero or the opponent directly. Supply Crate heals all your heroes and draws you a card. And then we get to like equip actions, which you can attach to your characters. Now, like with Make Your Own's, characters could only have 1 piece of equipment on them at a time. But there are some characters with the heavyweight trait, which basically means they can have up to 2 attached at a time. Well, I'm going to equip more. And you got Battle Belt here, which is basically gives a hero +1 BP and +2 HP. It says basic hero. I think I was planning to have like more powerful versions of characters that you would have to play on top of your basic heroes at some point. Again, it's been a while since I've made this. Strength Up, which gives a character +1 BP. And then Health Up is the counterpart to it, which gives HP. And then you got your reaction cards, which are basically your counter actions you can play when your opponent does something. So block a shot here Basically lets you negate a normal attack your opponent uses. Last Resort. If your opponent reduces your life to 0, you can play this to make your life points become 1. Payback Attack is played after your opponent attacks, and then you get to deal damage to your opponent equal to the number of heroes they attacked with, which in this version of the game, a player could have up to 4 characters on their field at a time. So it could potentially do up to 4 damage to your opponent. And then finally, Surface to Air Missile, which lets you negate an attack and destroy an attacking hero if it has flying. And that about does it for all the physical cards I made, but I also want to turn your attention to like the little rule book I made, because I did make a little rules just to go over some of the basics of the game. There's also a little image of a card in here, if I can zoom in on it, of another planned card, which is kind of nice. It's called the Air Joes. It's another piece of equipment. It basically gives a human hero the speedy trait and +1 BP, which is pretty nice. Speedy is kind of like haste and magic. They can attack on the same turn they come into play. But yeah, that's about all I've got for this version of the game. Thank you very much for watching. Definitely leave a like if you liked, and let me know in the comments below which of these was your favorite, and if you'd like to see some of those other versions of Collided Worlds. And I'll see you guys in whatever video I upload next, and take care.